At a big family party, I found my 9-year-old daughter, Sophie, sobbing in the bathroom, her long blonde hair shaved off, while my sister Vanessa stood there filming and laughing, calling it just a joke. If you were 36 and saw this happen to your child, what would you do? Hit the comments. I need to know I'm not alone in that frozen moment. I'm Monica, 36 years old. The backyard buzzed like a hive under the Cleveland sun, that late summer kind, that hangs heavy with the scent of grilled burgers and fresh-cut grass from Dad's ancient John Deere. Mom Helen had outdone herself again, checkered cloths draped over picnic tables groaning with potato salad, and Jell-O molds that wobbled like they held family secrets. It was the annual blowout, her way of knitting us all back together after another year of frayed edges, cousins from Parma, aunts with Tupperware towers, the whole suburb spilling over the chain-link fence. Sophie had bounded ahead, her braids swinging like golden ropes, clutching the friendship bracelets she'd beaded for her cousins Ethan and Chloe. "Mom, race you to Grandpa's swing," she'd yelled, her sundress fluttering, that carefree laugh of hers cutting through the chatter. I'd lingered by the cooler, nursing a lukewarm beer, watching the tableau with that familiar knot in my gut. 36 office admin scraping by on $62,000 a year after the divorce, and still these gatherings felt like walking a tightrope over old wounds. Vanessa, 33 and perpetually between opportunities, held court by the dessert, spread her laugh too loud as she unpacked a bakery box. $350 for a tiered cake, frosted in buttercream swirls, the kind that screamed, "Look at me, Vanessa, you spoil us." Mom cooed, slicing a generous wedge for Ethan, 11 and already lanky like his dad. Chloe, 8, piped up with a gap-toothed grin, "Aunt Vanessa's the best baker ever. More cake, more praise." Vanessa's eyes flicking my way with that glint satisfaction laced with spite. I'd smiled through it as always, but Sophie's absence nagged after 20 minutes. No giggles from the swing set, no chase around the oak tree with the cousins. "Seen Sophie?" I asked Joanne, my aunt on Dad's side, who was nursing a lemonade by the grill. She paused, her kind eyes narrowing over the rim. "Not since she ran off with the kids." Vanessa said something about a game upstairs. But odd her buying those clippers last week. Said for Derek's trim, save a buck. Clippers. The word snagged, but I brushed it off. Vanessa's pranks were legend, from my prom dress hemmed short in high school to the salt in my wedding cake batter. Mom always waved it away. "She's spirited, Monica. Don't be so sensitive." Upstairs, the hallway hummed with muffled shrieks. "Kids play," I told myself, heart picking up anyway. The bathroom door stood ajar, light spilling like a warning. I pushed it open, and the world tilted. Sophie huddled on the tile, knees to chest, towel clutched like a shield over her scalp, patches of uneven stubble where her braids had cascaded just hours ago. Clumps of blonde curls littered the floor like fallen soldiers, the air sharp with the metallic whine of battery clippers discarded on the sink. And Vanessa, my sister phone, angled triumphant, froze mid-laugh, the video rolling. "It's just a joke, Mon, little princess needed a reality check always, that hair stealing the show." Sophie's sobs hitched, red eyes meeting mine, devastation raw as a fresh cut. "Mommy." They held me, said it'd be funny. Rage bloomed black in my veins, but I dropped to my knees. First wrapping her in my arms, the towel soft against her, trembling. Vanessa smirked, thumb hovering over record. "Drama queen much. It'll grow back." That's when something snapped, not a scream, but a quiet fracture. The old cycle of moms. "She means well," crumbling under my daughter's tears. I rose, slow, shielding Sophie, voice steel. "Turn it off. Now." For the first time, Vanessa's laugh faltered. But the real storm, it was just breaking. It's 1999, and I'm 16, fumbling with bobby pins in the cramped upstairs bathroom of our Cleveland split level. The mirror fogged from Mom's endless hot showers as I try to tame my curls into something resembling the updo from 17 magazine. The house smells of her signature pot roast simmering downstairs. Comfort food she whips up like clockwork, even as the tension simmers too unspoken but thick as gravy. Vanessa, 5 years my junior at 11, perches on the toilet lid swinging her legs in those frilly socks Mom bought, matching sets of her eyes sharp as she watches me. "You look like a poodle, Mon. That dress, Mom says it's too flashy, boys'll think you're easy." Her words land casual, but there's a glint, that early spark of the game she's always played. Poke prod, watch me squirm. I'd sewn the hem myself on Dad's old Singer Midnight Oil burning while she slept, dreaming of prom night as my escape hatch from the suburbs' sameness. Downstairs the doorbell chimes, my date, awkward Tommy from algebra, bouquet of wilting carnations in hand. Mom Helen ushers him in, her laugh, a practiced melody, but her eyes rake me head to toe. "Oh, Monica, that gown. Bold choice." Vanessa picked out her Easter dress last week, such taste at her age. Vanessa beams, twirling in the foyer like a tiny debutante, while Dad Richard nods from his recliner, newspaper folded just so silent as the grave on family fault lines. Tommy shifts, mumbling compliments, but the air's already soured. We make it to the gym doors before Vanessa's prank reveals itself, the hem I'd slaved over now, ragged with hidden scissors, snips, threads unraveling like my dignity mid-slow dance, whispers ripple sloppy much, and I flee to the bathroom stall. Tears hot on my cheeks, the crown of my updo wilting like Tommy's flowers. Mom's call comes at midnight. Dad's station wagon idling outside. "What happened to the dress, dear? Vanessa said you must have caught it on something clumsy as ever." Clumsy. Not her baby girl's doing? Oh no, Helen's shield snaps up swift as a reflex voice cooing over speakerphone. "She adores you, Monica. Just playing. Don't be so sensitive. It's one night." Dad grunts, agreement engine rumbling homeward, his silence a permission slip for the cycle. That night, in my twin bed with the faded unicorn sheets, I stare at the ceiling fan's lazy whirl, the injustice festering like a bruise. Why always me on the hook? Vanessa skating free on Mom's blinders, the pattern etched deeper by my wedding day. 2015 St. Mary's Chapel awash in white lilies, and that Ohio spring rain pattering the stained glass. 27 radiant in lace I'd budgeted for with overtime shifts at the office. Daniel waiting at the altar with his steady grin and promises of forever. Guests murmured approvals, Joanne my aunt squeezing my hand. "You glow, niece." Earned every bit. But Vanessa bridesmaid in seafoam silk sidled up during photos, accidentally spilling red wine down my train Cabernet, blooming like blood on the veil. "Oops." "Clumsy me," she giggled, eyes dancing as the photographer clicked away. Mom swooped in, blotting futilely. "Oh, Vanessa's just excited nerves, you know. Monica, don't fuss. It's your day, not the dress." Dad hovered, offering a handkerchief, but no words. His quiet complicity, the family mortar holding Helen's favoritism tight. Richard loved me in his way. Secret ice cream runs, bedtime stories from his toolbox tales. But confrontation, he'd vanish to the garage tools, clanging like avoidance. By then, Vanessa's jokes had escalated. College rumors she'd whispered to my boyfriend. "She cheats, you know." Job leads she'd sabotage with helpful calls to bosses. "Mom always buffered, she looks up to you." "Monica jealous, that's all." Let it go. Blood's thicker. Thicker, yes. Like syrup drowning truth. Now at 36, divorced since 2018 with Sophie, my anchor through the wreckage, the loop glares back. Helen's coddling forged Vanessa's barbs, Dad's hush let them fester. That bathroom mirror from prom still haunts, but Sophie's tears today, they shatter it. The cycle's not fate, it's choice, and mine ends here. The night before the big family bash, I'm perched on the edge of Sophie's twin bed in our cozy Cleveland apartment, the one with the daisy wallpaper peeling at the corners from too many enthusiastic hugs. She's cross-legged on the hooked rug, her 9-year-old frame vibrating with that boundless energy only kids have, a tangle of blonde waves spilling over her shoulders like sunlight on the Cuyahoga. Mom tied her on the braid like Elsa's, but with a twist. She bosses handing me the blue ribbon from her ballerina phase. Her small hands already threading beads onto pipe cleaners for the friendship bracelets she's crafting. 3 of them, one for Ethan with red fire engine charms for his truck obsession, one for Chloe, pink hearts and sparkly stars, and a bonus for Aunt Vanessa because she's funny mom even when she teases. Teases. The word sticks in my throat like a fishbone as I section her hair fingers, working the comb through the silky lengths we've grown out since her 3rd birthday, 3 years post-Daniel when it was just us against the world's spin. $62,000 a year as an office admin doesn't buy luxuries but Sophie's hair. That was our ritual, our armor. Saturday mornings with detangler spray and YouTube tutorials, her giggles echoing off the tile as I French-braided tales of princesses who slayed dragons. Tonight, the apartment hums soft dishwasher whirring from my solo spaghetti dinner, the faint jazz from the neighbor's radio seeping through the walls. But my mind drifts to Vanessa's last joke 6 months back at Easter, swapping Sophie's Easter egg dye for food coloring that turned her hands green for a week. "Oops, kiddo. Now you're a little Hulk." Vanessa had cackled while Mom chuckled over pie. "She's got spirit, that one. Monica, lighten up. It washes out." I tie off the braid with a bow, Sophie twisting to admire it in the handheld mirror, her eyes blue as Lake Erie on a clear day, sparkling pure. Perfect Ethan'll freak. He loves braids like Indiana Jones ropes. She dives back into the bracelet's tongue, poking out in concentration, humming a mangled mashup of Frozen and Moana. Innocence like hers. It's a fragile thing wrapped in those pipe cleaner loops, and I swallow the knot, forcing a smile as I tuck her under the quilt printed with shooting stars. "Sleep tight, my little artist. Big day tomorrow, Grandpa's grill awaits." She yawns, clutching the Vanessa bracelet to her chest. "Night, Mom. Love you to the moon and back." Moon and back. If only family ties stretched that far without snapping. Morning breaks with Sophie's alarm, a tinny chime of ocean waves, and she's up like a shot dress twirling as she models it in the hall mirror. Ready. Let's go conquer the suburbs. The drive to Mom and Dad's place takes 40 minutes. The I-71 ribboning past Rust Belt factories and strip malls. Sophie buckled in the back, with her sketchpad belting out off-key renditions of Taylor Swift's latest Mom. This one's about shaking off bad hair days. Her laughter fills the Civic like helium windows cracked to let in the wind that whips her braids into a golden frenzy. I glance in the rearview, heart swelling at her unscarred joy, the way she doodles mermaids with crayon stub arms, oblivious to the undercurrents I've navigated since her first cry. But Lo Lang gnaws a quiet rodent in my chest. Vanessa's texts last week, cryptic emojis of scissors and cakes, had pinged while I clocked overtime, and Mom's casual, "she's bringing something special," hadn't soothed. The divorce in 2018 left me vigilant, piecing our life from admin spreadsheets, and Sophie's art classes no room for old ghosts. Yet, here we go, tires humming toward the suburb where Helen's favoritism still reigns. Richard's silence, a buffer too thin. Sophie pipes up from the back. "Do you think Aunt Vanessa'll like her bracelet?" I put extra sparkles, I force cheer knuckles white on the wheel. "She'll love it, Bean." "Everyone will. Kim Nan the Dread." I crank the radio, letting her off-key chorus drown it. For her, this day's a playground, for me, a minefield. But as the colonial roofline crests the hill, I vow silent, whatever shadows lurk, they won't touch her light. Not on my watch. The backyard sprawls like a faded postcard under the Cleveland sun, that relentless August blaze turning the air thick with charcoal smoke, and the sizzle of Dad's burgers on the Weber, his ritual flipping patties with tongs that have seen 30 summers. Picnic tables sag under Mom's spread deviled eggs dusted with paprika coleslaw wilting in its mayo hug, and watermelon wedges bleeding pink juice onto checkered cloths. Laughter bubbles from clusters of aunts and uncles, red solo cups sweating condensation, the kind of scene that screams all-American if you ignore the undercurrents swirling like gnats. Sophie darts straight for Grandpa Richard, her braids bouncing as she launches into his arms by the grill. Grandpa catch. He scoops her up effortless, his flannel shirt rumpled from yard work, face creasing in that rare, unguarded grin, the one he saves for her. Not the strained nods he gives Vanessa's antics. There's my firecracker. Show me those bracelets, eh? She perches on his hip, dangling the beaded strings like treasures, his calloused thumb tracing the sparkles. For Ethan and Chloe. You're a regular artisan, Soph. Better than anything in Mom's craft bin. His eyes meet mine over her head, warm with that quiet solidarity, the dad who'd sneak me extra cookies when Helen was on a health kick, who'd whisper, "You're tougher than you know," after Vanessa's latest jab. For a beat, the knot in my chest loosens. Here at least Sophie's light shines unchecked. Aunt Joanne sidles up then, her sensible blouse tucked into Capri's lemonade in hand, as she ruffles Sophie's hair. "Look at you, little Picasso. Those beads could grace a queen's crown." She's the outlier, Dad's sister, with her no-nonsense bridge club wisdom, the one who'd slipped me a 20 during my divorce lean times with a wink. For the war chest kid. Sophie beams, thrusting a bracelet her way. "For you, Aunt Jo. Extra blue for the lake." Joanne slips it on, admiring the fit. Fits like it was meant to. "You've got magic hands, girl. No qualifiers, no comparisons, just pure, unfiltered adore. The kind that makes my throat tight with what ifs. If only Helen saw Sophie that way, not as Vanessa's foil." But the ideal cracks as Mom calls from the dessert table, her voice carrying like a dinner bell. "Ethan, Chloe, come try Aunt Vanessa's masterpiece." There's my sister, 33 and radiating that brittle confidence of someone reinventing after her latest flop, unveiling the cake from its bakery box with a flourish. $350 worth of vanilla dream. 3 tiers swathed in ivory fondant, piped roses cascading like frozen waterfalls, the topper a glittering family first in gold leaf. Ta-da! From that little French spot downtown, Derek said splurge, but how could I not? She slices with theatrical sweeps, plating generous slabs for her kids first. Ethan wolfs his down, chocolate crumbs on his chin. Epic Mom, better than store-bought. Chloe nods, fork midway. "You're a pro. Aunt V way fancier than Sophie's Play-Doh cookies." Mom claps, eyes shining on them like spotlights. "Oh, Vanessa, you outdid yourself." Ethan's already eyeing culinary school smart boy, following his mom's lead. And Chloe, that poise, a little lady in the making. Praise flows easy, a river carving canyons around Sophie, who pauses mid-swing, her bracelet gift forgotten in her fist. I force a smile, plating a sliver for her. "Try it, Bean. It's sweet, but the favoritism sticks like fondant to teeth." Helen's echo from my prom days, Vanessa's just spirited. "Don't compete, Monica." Joanne leans close, then voice low over the grill's hiss. Odd her flashing that cash on cake after the gossip fired from the agency, they say. Something about skimming 18,000 on expense reports. Derek's covering, but... And those clippers she bought last week? In her purse at bingo said for a home project. Watch your girl Moner clippers. The word lodges sharp, Vanessa's laugh floating over as she films Ethan's review on her phone. Ngingo prickles a slow itch under my skin, her eyes flicking Sophie's way too often, that joke glint sharpening. The sun dips, lower shadows stretching long across the lawn, and as Sophie skips back to the swing, I trail her hand on her shoulder. Beneath the smiles, the tension coils tight as a spring ready to snap. Half an hour into the backyard charade with the sun baking the potato salad into a lukewarm regret, I'm refilling Sophie's lemonade when Aunt Joanne pulls me aside by the lilac bush, her voice a low rumble over the cousin's frisbee wax. Monica, a word away from Helen's ears. Her grip on my elbow is firm, that no-nonsense squeeze from our rare coffee clatches, where she'd slip truths Mom buried under floral arrangements. We duck behind the shed, the chain-link fence rattling with Ethan's errant throw, and she fishes a crumpled receipt from her purse, grocery store logo dated last Tuesday. Vanessa at the checkout line ahead of me. Clippers electric ones, top-shelf battery-powered buzz. Ask the clerk for the quiet model, won't wake the kids. I thought it odd. Derek's got a buzz cut from the barber, not home shears. Clippers. The word from her bingo quip earlier now lands like a gut punch, my lemonade cup crumpling in my fist, citrus sharp on my tongue. Why tell me now? I whisper, pulse thumping against my ribs. Joanne's eyes crinkled from years of seeing through Helen's haze soften but steel. Because I've watched this dance since you were knee-high, niece. Vanessa's jokes aren't harmless anymore, not with Sophie in the mix. And there's more gossip from my bridge ladies. Vanessa's out at the agency. Skimmed $18,000 on fake expenses, client lunches that were bar tabs, mileage to meetings that were mall crawls. Derek's lawyering it quiet, but she's unraveling Monica. Jealousy's a slow poison. Don't let it touch your girl. Unraveling. The pieces slot grim, Vanessa's brittle laugh by the cake, her eyes lingering too long on Sophie's braids. That game upstairs, she'd herded the kids toward with a wink. 18,000 stolen, mirroring the pranks that nicked my confidence, my wedding photos. My piece now aimed at innocence I'd kill to shield. Ninghi Ngo blooms, cold in my veins, no longer a prick, but a flood. As I scan the yard, Sophie's swing, empty. Chloe and Ethan vanished too. Vanessa's phone glinting from the porch steps where she scrolls, smirking at nothing. Sophie. My call cuts the chatter sharper than intended, heads turning like sunflowers to frost. Mom pauses, mid-slice of pie fork hovering. She's fine. Monica playing with the cousins. Don't helicopter. Let her be. But my feet move anyway, heart slamming like a screen door in a gale, up the back stairs, through the kitchen's screen, the house's familiar creaks mocking me. Same linoleum where Vanessa once accidentally dumped flour down my Easter dress at 10. The hallway upstairs stretches, dim doors ajar to guest rooms stuffed with old board games and Mom's quilt stacks, but the bathroom light spills golden muffled giggles turning to a hitch. A sob, I freeze, hand on the knob, breath shallow as a held plea. Push it open, and the world fractures. Sophie's on the tile, towel clutched to her head, blonde clumps scattered like confetti from a cruel piñata. Vanessa leans against the sink phone, angled casual red record light blinking. Smile for the family chat. Soph princess haircut special. Ethan and Chloe hover wide-eyed by the tub, clippers humming discarded on the counter, their hands still pink from holding her down. Sophie's face crumples when she sees me, tears carving tracks through the flour dust on her cheeks. Mommy, they said it was a game. It hurts. Vanessa straightens, laugh faltering but defiant. Lighten up, Mon, it's hair. Grows back. She's too vain anyway. Always flipping those locks like a mini diva. Vain. The word ignites rage, roaring past the shock, but I lunge for Sophie first, scooping her into my arms, her stubble rough under the towel like sandpaper on my soul. Get that phone out, I hiss, voice, a blade honed from years of swallowed barbs. Vanessa pockets it, smirking, but the proof's there, filmed time-stamped malice in megapixels. Downstairs the party hums oblivious, but, up here, the cycle shatters. No more games. Not with my girl. The bathroom door creaks wider under my push, and time fractures like cheap glass. Sophie's small form curled on the cold tile towel, clutched white-knuckled over her scalp. Blonde curls strewn across the floor in ragged clumps, the air thick with the metallic tang of battery clippers still humming faintly on the vanity. Vanessa leans against the sink phone, angled like a trophy red record light, blinking smug as her grin. Say cheese, family chat. Sophie's getting the Pixie upgrade. Isn't it hilarious? Ethan and Chloe huddle by the tub, eyes wide as saucers, their hands still dusted with hair clippings. Ethan's fingers twitching like he's replaying the hold down Chloe's lip, quivering in delayed guilt. Aunt V said it'd be funny, Mom, Chloe whispers, voice tiny, like a dare. Sophie's head snaps up at my voice. Mommy, and the devastation hits like a freight train, her blue eyes swollen red stubble patching her crown uneven where the clippers skipped tears carving clean tracks through the smudged cheeks. They pinned me, said stop fighting, it's just pretend. Her voice breaks on pretend, a sob wrenching from her chest that echoes off the porcelain, and the world narrows to that sound, my girl. My light reduced to this trembling shell because of a joke. Rage erupts then, not a slow burn, but a bonfire, years of Vanessa's barbs and Mom's blinders fueling the blaze. I lunge past the kids, yanking the towel from Sophie's grip to shield her fully, my body a barrier, as I scoop her up, her weight feather light and shattering in my arms. Give me the phone, Vanessa. Now. My voice doesn't shake. It's granite honed from admin meetings where I've talked down furious clients, from divorce depositions where I held the line for custody. She straightens, laugh, faltering into a smirk, thumb hovering over stop. Chill, Mon, it's viral gold. Little diva needed humbling. Always that princess hair stealing Ethan's thunder. Watch the clips gold. She shoves the screen my way, playback rolling, Sophie's please. Please stop it. Tickles bad, Ethan and Chloe giggling nervous at first, then holding firmer as Vanessa buzzes away her cackle, the soundtrack to my nightmare. Delete it. The words hiss low, venomous as I cradle Sophie closer, her hot tears soaking my blouse. Ethan tugs my sleeve, voice small. We didn't mean… Aunt V said it'd grow funny. Chloe nods, tears spilling now. Vanessa rolls her eyes, pocketing the phone. You're overreacting as usual. Its hair grows back in weeks. Mom'll back me. Always does. Always does. The cycle's ugly head rearing in this tiled tomb. Footsteps thunder up the stairs, Mom Helen drawn by the commotion, her apron dusted with flour from pie crusts. What's all this racket, dinners? She freezes in the doorway, hand-to-mouth eyes flicking from the hair-strewn floor to Sophie's hidden head, then to Vanessa's defiant stance. Vanessa, what on earth? But her tone's already softening, that reflex shield snapping up like muscle memory. Vanessa spins, arms out. Just a prank, Mom. Sophie was hogging the mirror, thought a makeover'd even the playfield. Kids loved it at first. Helen's gaze darts to me, pleading, almost. Oh, Monica, it's harmless. Vanessa's always been the joker, remember your prom dress? Grew back fine, didn't it? Sophie's tough. She'll laugh tomorrow. Harmless. Tough. The words ignite the powder keg. I shift Sophie higher, her face buried in my neck, and level my stare at Mom, 36 years of swallowed pranks boiling over. Harmless. You held her down, Vanessa, my daughter 9 years old, while she begged. Filmed her terror for likes. And you, Mom, you'll cover again. Like always. Helen flushes, pearls twisting in her fingers. Don't make a scene, dear. Family forgives. No, the word slices clean, final as a door slam. I turn, Sophie clutched tight, and bolt down the hall stairs, blurring under my feet. Vanessa calls after drama queen, but it fades to static. Outside, the party hums oblivious, but as I bundle her into the Civic engine roaring to life, the brake seals no more scenes, no more forgiveness. Just us. And the quiet war I've finally declared. The Civic's engine hums steady as I peel out of Mom and Dad's driveway gravel, spitting like accusations under the tires. Sophie's small body curled against me in the passenger seat, towel, still clutched like a talisman over her stubbled head. The suburb blurs past manicured lawns and minivans, mocking the normalcy I'd chased here today. But inside, the air's thick with her sniffles, the faint chemical whiff of those clippers clinging to her sundress. 36 years of swallowing Vanessa's venom, and now it's poisoned my girl. Rage simmers low, not the explosive kind that feeds their drama label, but a quiet forge tempering me into something unbreakable. Joanne's call lights my phone on the dash before we hit the highway, her voice crackling urgent over the speaker as I merge onto I-71 Cleveland skyline, shrinking in the rear view like a bad dream fading. Monica, I saw you bolt Sophie. Okay, Helen's in a tizzy downstairs spinning it as kids being kids. But I cornered Vanessa. She's blustering about the video. It's gold, Aunt Jo. You'll laugh. But her eyes, pure venom. And that gossip-confirmed agency canned her last month $18,000 in fudged receipts. Derek's paying it back quiet, but she's unraveling Nice, blaming everyone but the mirror. Get your girl home. I'll handle the home front. Tell Helen this cycle's done. Her words land like ballast, steadying the wheel in my white-knuckled grip. Joanne, the one aunt who'd seen through the favoritism since my prom hem debacle, who'd whispered, "You're enough, Monica," at my divorce toast, always the quiet validator in Helen's chorus of excuses. Thanks, Joe. Tell Dad. Tell him I love him, but we're out. No more parties, no more jokes. Sophie stirs, then peeking from the towel, her voice a threadbare whisper, "Aunt Jo is Grandpa mad." Joanne's laugh softens over the line. Mad at the right folks, sugar. You're a star, braids or buzz. Call me later, I've got your back. The call drops, but her support lingers, a thread pulling me from the free fall. Traffic thins as we hit the city limits, the radio murmuring oldies, Springsteen crooning about Born to Run glory, and Sophie shifts towel slipping to reveal the uneven patches, her fingers tracing the prickly stubble like it's braille for betrayal. Mom, will I ever feel pretty again? Like a princess, her question hangs fragile. 9 years old and already scarred by family thorns, tears welling fresh as she stares at her lap, the friendship bracelet for Vanessa dangling limp from her wrist, sparkles dulled like forgotten promises. I pull over at the next exit, a quiet overlook by the Cuyahoga's Bend, the river glinting lazy under the fading sun. Unbuckling, I gather her, close my arms, a fortress around her trembling frame, the towel soft between us. Oh, Bean, pretty's not hair or dresses or anyone's silly games. Pretty's you, your laugh that lights rooms, your drawings that make dragons dance. Vanessa. She's hurting inside, lashing out like a storm. But storms pass, and you shine through. She nods against my shoulder, sniffles easing to hiccups, and I cup her chin, gentle meeting those blue eyes, mirrors of my own, but unclouded yet. I promise, Sophie. Vanessa won't hurt you again. Not ever. We're done with those parties, those jokes. Just us, our apartment, our rules. You, me, and all the braids we want. She manages a wobbly smile, fingers twisting the bracelet till it snaps, beads scattering like shed scales. Can we make new ones? Just for us. Relief floods me warm as the rivers murmur as I hug her tighter. No yelling storms back at the house. No Helen's teary pleas or Dad's silent nods. Quiet justice boundaries drawn not in shouts, but steps away, protecting what's mine, breaking the chain Helen forged. As we pull back onto the road, Sophie humming a soft tune, resolve hardens, the cycle ends with me. For her light, I'd raise the whole backyard. 1 week after the backyard shattered like those discarded curls on the bathroom tile, I'm in our Cleveland apartment's living room, the late afternoon sun slanting through the blinds like hesitant forgiveness, casting stripes across Sophie's sketchpad on the coffee table. She's 9, going on 90, cross-legged on the throw rug with her crayons splayed like a rainbow autopsy, humming a soft tune from that Moana soundtrack that got us through the divorce haze. The air smells of mac and cheese from the microwave, our comfort staple since Daniel left, and for the first time in days her laughter peels, genuine, not edged with that hollow ring from the drive home. Look, Mom, me as a superhero with the buzz. She holds up the page, triumphant, a self-portrait in bold lines, her stubble-crowned head haloed by a cape of flames, eyes fierce under arched brows, a speech bubble declaring Sophie, the unbreakable. The hairs rendered spiky, not bald, artistic license her way of reclaiming the raw edges. I kneel beside her, tracing the crayon strokes my throat tight with that fierce mama pride. It's perfect bean, fiercer than Wonder Woman. You captured the sparkle right there in the eyes. She grins, gap-toothed and glowing, hugging the paper to her chest. Aunt V can't touch this. It's mine. Healing quiet as a bud uncurling through colors, not clocks. No therapy bills yet. Just us rebuilding in the margins they tried to shave away. The landline rings, then our old corded relic, a holdover from Dad's era, and Sophie bounds to answer, her voice piping bright. Aunt Jo, yay, Mom's here, hold on. Joanne's laugh crackles through warm as her famous apple pie. Monica, how's my favorite artist duo? Sophie spill the beans on her masterpiece, yet I take the receiver, leaning against the kitchen doorframe. The apartment's hum, fridge, whir, distant traffic, a cocoon against the suburbs' echo. She did. Superhero buzz cut and all. Thanks for the call. Last week, your words got us through the drive. Joanne's pause is that knowing one, the aunt who'd seen Vanessa's barbs draw first blood on my prom night. Good. And Helen. She's stewing, called me yesterday. All Monica's overreacting again. I set her straight. That's not a joke, Helen. That's a wound. Your baby girl's poison, now fix it or lose 'em both. Richard's quiet, but he nodded along. You're doing right, niece. Blood's not always thicker than ink. Sophie's your canvas. Paint bold. Validation lands soft, a balm on the bruise. Joanne, the lone lighthouse in Helen's fog, affirming without fanfare. We chat light, her bridge club scandals, Sophie's latest dragon doodle, till she rings off with call anytime. Doors open. The cord coils back into its cradle, and I exhale, the apartment feeling less like a bunker, more like a base. My phone buzzes, next to email from Daniel, subject for Sophie and you. I sink onto the sofa, thumbing it open, his words steady as his old toolbox. Monica heard from a mutual about the party. That's not right. Sophie doesn't deserve it. Enclosed check for art classes, whatever she needs to feel strong. And for you, coffee sometime, co-parent truce. She's our spark. Let's keep it lit. No grovels, just quiet amends, the dad who'd missed too many recitals post-2018, but showed for her science fair last spring. I forward the attachment to our joint account, a small thaw in the frost. But the voicemail light blinks, insistent. Helen timestamped midnight last night, her voice that wounded trill. Monica. You've humiliated us, storming out like that. Vanessa's devastated. It was a silly prank. You always blow things up, think of the family callback. We'll talk. Humiliated. Devastated. As if Sophie's sobs were footnotes. My thumb hovers, then deletes, gone like the cycle it fed. No rage left to spend. Just resolve, clean as a fresh page. Sophie tugs my sleeve, crayon in fist. Mom, draw with me. I nod, sliding to the rug, picking up the black for shadows. This cycle ends with me. I whisper to the paper the words, ink deep. For her unbreakable lines, I'd erase the whole book.